It was a month that saw Armel Leclerc take overall victory in the Vendée Globe after a 24,000-mile match race around the world. His battle in the 29-boat fleet became a 2.5-month duel with Alex Thompson, who finished just 16 hours behind. It was also a month that saw eye-watering speeds lead to yet more major records being smashed. In this show, how France's Joyon's crew demolished what many thought was an unbeatable record. The most advanced race boats in the world emerge. And we head onto the ice for some high-speed crash and burn. But first, big names, bold changes, and some brazen performances in Miami.
This is WDNS Miami. It's 72 degrees outside, and down at Regatta Park in Coconut Grove, the Sailing World Cup Series is in town.
Miami played host to round one of the 2017 Sailing World Cup Series, the first of the new Olympic cycle. Among the 400 competitors, there was an abundance of familiar names. There were also plenty of new faces and new partnerships. But there was one big name that was the talk of the boat park. He's one of the world's most successful Olympic sailors, a rock star at home in Brazil, and a global sailing celebrity. He is, without doubt, the king of the laser, but now he's jumping ship.
He's getting a little bit older now, but you've seen him, he's in great shape and he looks after himself.
With that age, it is not just a bit crazy, it's a lot crazy.
There is no bigger jump in Olympic sailing. Scheid has set himself a big challenge.
Well, I think going to Rio was already, a big goal. But I knew that after that, my days in the laser were done. I already sailed almost 25 years in that boat.
It's amazing to go from laser to 49er. I think it's the most difficult transition, and I really hope that he will manage to compete with the best guys in that class.
People told me I was too old for the laser too when I did the Olympics at 43, and if you have a healthy life, eat well, sleep well, have a good rest, you have to do the right things. You cannot make too many mistakes on the preparation. So then I think you have a chance to compete at an older age. The motivation is to keep sailing. I love sailing. I enjoy the competition. I enjoy having a goal ahead of me. And to have to sail in a different boat, I think that's very motivating. It's the first time I sail with a boat with 3 sails, fast boat, so it's very different, but it's also very exciting.
I mean, he looks like he's having a great time. He's learning lots of new stuff, and he's going to get on well. He's going to train hard, and it's good having such an amazing sailor in our fleet.
We got probably 30 days on our belt, which is not enough. We're still very green, I would say. 2017 is a crucial year. We need to put a lot of time on the water, to dominate the boat and to be confident to sail the boat in any condition.
To get the boat handling sorted in the 49er, I would say a minimum of a year. It's quite easy almost in Miami here to do the handling. It's very flat water, and you get away with a lot then. If you get on the waves on the ocean, everything is a lot harder, and I'm sure there'll be a few cracks appearing there, but there's plenty of waves in Rio.
Along with plenty of home support for the most famous sailor in Brazil. Some were swapping one hull for 2, switching from the 49er to the Nacra 17. But why?
I'm sailing Nacra 17 now with Laura Schäffiger, and she was a FX helmsman. And she persuaded me to sail with her, and it's working out pretty good so far. Basically, it's a completely different boat how you sail it with the 2 hulls, but to have it stable on a heel angle is basically the same than having the 49er flat. The upwind is for us the more difficult part, because we are not used to sail together, and she has to work out the crewing on the Nacra. For me, it's easier because basically the speed is similar to the 49er. It's a bit faster, and especially the downwinds I feel quite comfortable with.
Some have gone a stage further, moving forward in the boat and going from 49er helmsman to NACRA crew.
Sailing at CAT in general is different from sailing a skiff technically, so I really need to get used to that. There's more power in the sheets, both in the main sheet and the spinnaker sheets. I think physically for the arms and like the upper body, I'll say that NACRA is like more heavy sheets, so that's more physical challenging. But for Nana, it's more for the cardio, so you get like heavy heart rate and all that stuff. I think all the racing, all the tactic, all the boat-to-boat stuff is really similar. A lot of small situations you can take from the Fortnana, and it's exactly the same in the NACRA. So Fortnana is a really good school boat to like get all your sailing skills up on a high level, and then you can go to like, I'll say, most boats and do good.
But the learning process doesn't stop here, as the NACRA is about to get even tougher later this year as the class gets up onto foils.
It's a good time to come in for sure, because we have time to learn to sail a multi-hull, and then we get the time to learn to sail the multi-hull flying. So for us it's quite nice. It's definitely the future of sailing.
As it turned out, Scheidt and his crew, Gabriel Borge, didn't make the top 10 for the medal race, a sign of how tough the transition would be. Instead, it was the new British pairing of Fletcher Scott and Bithell who had stretched out a commanding lead from day one to win the event with a day to spare. In the NACRA 17, British sailors Ben Saxton and Nicola Groves took gold. Nico Delicarte and his crew Laura Schoffiger took bronze, while Christian Lubeck and his helm Lynn Sinholt finished 7th. Meanwhile, in the women's 49er FX, it was Olympic gold medalists Martina Grael and Kahena Kunz who took the top spot once again. Stuart McKay has been racing the 470 for 15 years and has been to the Games 3 times. A 4th place in Rio was agonising, but he and his crew, David Hughes, are determined to try again. But this time, they could be pushed even harder by 2 teenagers. Both teams are coached by a 5-time world champion and Olympic gold medalist.
I'm Nathan Wilmot, 470 American men's coach now. And we've got these 2 young guys, Jack and Wiley, who just won the Youth Worlds and coming up through the ranks, jumped into 470 and trying to make a go of it and give the older group a bit of a run for their money.
It's fantastic. I love racing against good sailors of all ages. I'm really happy what has been happening with all the youth sailors in our country.
Some of these guys have been doing this for close to 20 years now, and they're still at the end of their game. So obviously we're a little bit behind. We don't have 2 decades under our belt, but you know, there's some stuff you carry over from other boats and stuff you just learn quickly. But we just need to get more hours in the boat. It's stuff you pick up with experience, and there's no substitute for it.
They've got a fair bit to learn about the 470, just on how to sail it, how to get around the boat. It's a bit bigger for them. Little mistakes they used to be able to get away with in the 420, obviously now they're getting punished for them.
It's a lot more physical. I mean, the whole kinetics game is so much greater than in the 420. You know, that's really where the major differences is. You can throw your weight around quite a bit more. Obviously the sails are bigger, so you have to be a little bit heavier in the boat just to sail competitively, but a lot of it is just a lot more muscle, a lot more endurance, which we need to build up, and we're still working on that.
So far they've taken to it pretty well and pretty confidently. You know, it's going to be a challenging selection. It's great to have actually 2 boats that will be battling. So I hope they're both pushed along really hard. I think it'll help their chances at the end of the day and give them that energy and everything they need to go forward for Japan.
So early on in the quad, you know, we're sailing with them and we're trying to learn as much as we can from them, trying to help them as much as we can as a training partner at this point. You know, at this point we're teammates, you know.
And super lucky to be teammates at that. With them being one of the top boats in the world, we're super lucky to be sailing alongside them.
But they weren't the only youth sailors in Miami to put pressure on some big guns. There was plenty of young talent in the women's RSX fleet. Some had arrived with youth and Olympic medals around their necks, but all had showed up with a plan for the future, along with a cool head and clear focus on the road ahead.
For sure it will be hard to stay focused all these 4 years for Tokyo, so I'm not going to do this. I'm just do event by event and maybe focus a bit on a World Sailing Championship in Denmark next year. There is a lot of young girls with who I was racing, and we can compete, we can win adults. I'm just happy that youngest are doing well.
And she wasn't alone. British sailor Emma Wilson is just 17. She already has 2 Youth World titles to her name, claiming the second in Auckland at the end of 2016.
I admire the Russian Stefania. She came third at the Olympics. Last year I was competing against her as a youth, so it's pretty cool to be able to compete against the Olympic medalist.
I'm learning a lot with all these girls. It's my first competition in senior category. My best result was in my last youth competition, that was third in the world. Some youth are doing really good in the senior, like Emma and Stefania, and they are like a great example for me. They show that it's possible to be good soon in the seniors also.
3 of a new breed of bright young sailors that are ramping up the pressure already. By the end of the week, Yunju Lu from China took gold. Stefania Elfutina finished 7th, while Emma Wilson finished 10th. Meanwhile, in the 470 class, gold went to McNay and Hughes. But the youngsters, Rogers and Parkin, competing at their first World Series event in the 470, not only made it to the medal race, but finished 6th overall. A clear indication as to why they're being taken so seriously. Among the other impressive results, Louis Giard took gold with ease in the men's RSX, as did fellow Frenchman Jean-Baptiste Bernaz in the laser. Previously ranked 76th in the world, Greek sailor Vasileia Karahaliou took her first World Series win in the laser radial. Georges Zarif had to battle for gold in the Finn. But racing went down to the wire in the women's 470, with the final result hanging on the last jibe to see Aphrodite Ziegers and Anneloes van Veen from the Netherlands take gold by just 1 point. After the break, how to smash a world record. Plus the world's most advanced race boats. But first, they regularly reach 100 kilometers per hour and have a top speed of 140. But when it goes wrong in an ice yacht, the crash can be spectacular. Stay with us for part 2.